Hello everyone, my name's Alice Richardson. I'm an assistant professor at the University of Canberra in the program of Mathematics and Statistics in the Faculty of Education, Science, Technology and Mathematics. I sometimes think my university is trying to top the rankings for the longest university faculty name in the world. My association with ICOTS goes back to the 6th conference in 2002 in Durban. I contributed a paper on experimental research in an introductory statistics course. In this paper, I reported on a project at the University of Canberra in which we asked students to form small groups and conduct a simple experiment, apply descriptive statistics to the data, and report their results in the form of a simple poster. At the 7th ICOTS in Salvador, I contributed a paper on the dialogue with Florence Nightingale. In this paper, I reported on some fascinating research into the life and writings of Florence Nightingale. She's so well known as the founder of modern nursing, but it turns out she had a huge hand in the founding of statistics as well, ranging from the production of hugely influential government reports to the invention of graphics that are simply beautiful as well as incredibly informative. Now, at the 9th ICOTS in Flagstaff, I'm honoured to have been invited to present this paper in the session on building statistics capacity in statistics majors. My talk today is called Building Capacity in Statistics Majors, Drawing Strength from a Diverse Region. The catalyst for this talk was a unique opportunity that was presented in November 2013, the Conference on Statistics Training in Universities, National and International Experiences and the Way Forward that was held in Hanoi in Vietnam. Despite the devastating Typhoon Haiyan, which passed through the region at exactly that time, academics from Vietnam, Australia and the USA were all able to come together with Vietnamese employers and other international statistics trainers from Korea, Japan, France and the Philippines. And we were particularly aware of the difficulties faced by colleagues of the Philippines delegate because of the typhoon. The conference was sponsored by the UN Population Fund, and across the 2 days the group shared experiences and developed a way forward for statistics training in Vietnamese universities. So in this talk, I will concentrate on the perspectives shared at that conference by the Pacific Rim countries of Vietnam, Australia and the USA. Issues, directions and structural constraints raised by the delegates from those 3 countries will be described. A high degree of commonality exists despite the apparent differences in geography, history and politics of those nations. This means that the way forward for Vietnam that was developed at the conference last year has relevance nationally, regionally and internationally. I hope my conclusions will offer some very practical ways forward for each of you here today. So let's start with the issues facing Australian universities offering statistics majors. In one sense, the Australian university system is small and consistent, with just 38 universities and 37 out of those 38 funded by the federal government. Yet on the other hand, the Australian system is very diverse. Most of the 38 universities would offer a statistics major, with every university structuring it in a slightly different way. Basically, over the last 150 years, universities have settled on structures that work for them, and however different they are mostly successful. There is no one set department in which all the statisticians at any Australian university are located. Some have departments of their own, like Melbourne. Some are with mathematics, like Canberra. Some are with finance and actuarial studies, like the Australian National University. Some statisticians are in science departments and some more in psychology departments. The structure and content of statistics majors often depends on the type of department the teachers are in, or indeed the type of teachers they are. The quite loose requirements for accreditation set by the Statistical Society are another indicator of the diversity of the Australian system. So in one sense, the Australian system could not be less constrained for statistics majors. And yet there are constraints. These include increasing access to university on the one hand and shrinking departments on the other. More students are being admitted to Australian universities, and so more students are coming with a lower level of mathematical preparedness than before. And despite this increase in numbers, Most statistics departments are either staying the same size or getting smaller, so that there are fewer academics available to cope with large classes and the diverse needs of students in them. Secondly, structures which encourage silos. I don't really mean the classic Australian image of a wheat silo that you see here, but the image of an enclosed tower is the right one to use. There is a tendency for faculties to want to hang on to their students in their degrees and offer all the courses needed for a degree, even when a similar course may be offered elsewhere in the university and taught by a more qualified and more enthusiastic teacher. This is a huge challenge, which seems to be such an obvious one to overcome, but it has not happened yet in many Australian universities. Another constraint is managing public attention. Mathematics and statistics particularly find themselves in the spotlight following the publication of this report in 2011, Mathematics, Engineering and Science in the National Interest, written by Australia's chief scientist. While most of the recommendations in this report are to do with school teachers, these recommendations will impact upon statistics majors because funding has been made available to train teachers, and statisticians have a hand in training maths teachers, as is only right. The Statistical Society also imposes standards on statistics majors through its degree accreditation scheme. The final constraint I want to talk about is making the voice of the profession heard. The Statistical Society of Australia would be the best placed organisation to emphasise the importance of statistics to informed decision making, but its voice is often not as loud as that of other professional societies such as the Australian Medical Association. I wonder if it's a coincidence that the logos of the two societies I mentioned just now are almost exactly the same colour. No wonder it's hard sometimes for the Statistical Society to make an impact. Now let's turn to Vietnam. 4 universities out of 50 in Vietnam offer statistics majors: the National Economics University, the University of Economics in Ho Chi Minh City, the University of Economics in Da Nang, and the University of Economics in Hue. This makes for a much more concentrated system than Australia. Because of the concentrated locations, course objectives can be more prescriptive than, for example, the accreditation requirements of the Statistical Society of Australia. For example, the course objectives of the Bachelor of Economic Statistics at the National Economics University are to produce graduates with good qualities of politics and morality, good health, high responsibility for society, a basic knowledge of economy and society, management and business administration, in-depth knowledge of statistics and data analysis, and the capacity for thinking independently and for self-obtaining knowledge due to job requirements. Vietnamese statistics majors are employed in a wide variety of jobs in every sector of the Vietnamese economy. This is a very similar situation to Australia. Also, as in Australia, the Vietnamese university system experiences constraints. Today, I want to talk about just 4 of them. Firstly, modernisation, meaning that the curriculum and pedagogy could do with modernisation and better integration with other countries. Secondly, experience, meaning that a number of lecturers do not have the classic combination of theoretical knowledge as well as practical experience. I thought this cartoon sketch captured quite neatly the desire for these two to be more completely intertwined. Thirdly, coordination, meaning that statistics majors can notice a lack of coordination between what they learnt at university and actual practice at statistics offices and businesses. The same cartoon sketch seems to apply here as well. And finally, habit, meaning that considering scientific evidence from data analysis in decision making is not built in as a habit in Vietnamese society or government, so that statistics majors are not necessarily valued when they graduate. Now turning to the USA. The United States education system and the Australian system would be more closely aligned to each other than to the Vietnamese system, with several broad structures containing statistics majors. These broad structures will now be delineated. First, statistics majors taught by statistics departments. A classic example would be the University of California in Berkeley. Second, statistics taught within mathematical sciences departments. A classic example would be Swarthmore College. Third, statistics taught by other academic departments such as economics, psychology, and so on. But of more interest is the fourth part of the structure here, statistics in health sciences, which is very often taught in schools of public health, such as the Harvard School of Public Health. Constraints facing USA statistics majors include the following. Accreditation. Both the Statistical Society of Australia and the American Statistical Association accredit individuals. The American scheme is the PSTAT one named here, but this accreditation has not yet met with the public acceptance of, for example, accountancy certification. Other certifications, such as Certified Analytics Professional, have even lower profiles. Secondly, providers outside universities. Corporations large and small offer e-learning. Massive open online courses such as the three named here have also burst onto the US scene as a possible replacement for courses offered in traditional university settings at both introductory and advanced level. And third, universities' slow reaction to fast-moving issues outside the university sector. When I think of something that is slow to react, the ill-fated Titanic, of course, comes to mind. But the last thing we want for universities is for them to meet the same fate as that ship, because they can't react quickly enough. Now, to pull it all together, in November 2013, statistics trainers shared experiences such as we've just been hearing about and developed a way forward for statistics training in Vietnamese universities. The recommendations from that conference are valid worldwide, despite varying locations and socio-economic environments. Three key issues that impact upon building capacity in statistics majors were identified at that conference, along with numbers of recommendations for tackling those issues. The first key issue was confirmation of the importance of statistics and the need for stronger advocacy on the importance of statistical work in society. The role of statistics is very wide. It provides scientific evidence for decision-making at the national and subnational level. It is linked with all types of activities in society, including government, business, and industry. And big data discussions are very prominent and fueled in part by social media. So, let's strengthen advocacy for politicians, policymakers, educational leaders, and society in general on the important role of statistics for development, monitoring, and evaluation of policies at all different levels. Government agencies such as national statistics offices could take a leading role in this advocacy. And let's promote a correct understanding of statistics and statistics work via social media, marketing campaigns, and other social activities such as competitions. Let's make profiles of successful statistical careers very public so that they can be used for advocacy. And let's strengthen the integration of statistics at different levels of education. In the same way as these Russian dolls all fit together, even schools can raise awareness of statistics in a similar way to universities and higher education. The second key issue was ensuring best statistical academic practice. A number of problems are faced by many countries, such as average mathematics levels at secondary school varying from country to country, a differing proportion of the course requirements for a statistics major is reserved for mathematics, and the focus on data analysis within statistics majors varies. So, let's keep in mind that the global situation regarding the position of statistics and data analysis is complicated, but nonetheless, let's encourage global collaboration between private and public employers, universities and training structures, all facilitated by the information and communication technology. The third key issue encompasses 4 directions: curriculum, faculty, students, and structural constraints. I'll address those one by one. Curriculum spans the whole life cycle of a course, from its content to the method of teaching to the connections between it and the workplace. And you can see from this picture, which I picked up from the University of Missouri, that things get very complicated very quickly. I've got 8 recommendations in the paper accompanying this talk, and will mention just 3 of them here. Firstly, let's update statistics curricula to achieve a proper balance between theory and applied statistics and emerging issues such as big data. The value of soft skills obtained by an appropriate balance has been mentioned in the literature many times too. Let's evolve teaching methods in order to make statistics courses more attractive. More lively teaching, more interactivity and active learning, seeking regular student feedback and acting on positive recommendations can all assist. And let's develop a network of universities and employers. Connect universities with employers, private or government, including enterprises, and work with them on updating and transforming curricula, especially obtain information on skills that employers need from employees, develop collaboration between universities with statistics programs and employers by organising regular meetings between the two, and encourage statistics faculty to work with employers on subject content, research projects and the like. Faculty issues also span the life cycle of a university's engagement with faculty, from recruitment to continued development of existing academics. There are 9 key recommendations listed in my paper at this point, but I thought I'd talk about just 3 of them. Firstly, at one end of the supply chain, let's recruit students globally among very large populations and train them up at the master's and PhD level. Secondly, at the other end, let's make use of retirees from the statistical system, some of whom are very strong and up-to-date in modern statistics. They devoted their career to statistics and are quite possibly willing to devote the rest of their lives to raising future statisticians. And in the middle, let's join forces and help each other internationally. North-north, south-south, any which way you can. Virtual communities can facilitate this hugely. Student recruitment issues have to do in part with the image of statistics and so are actually essentially a marketing problem. 3 key recommendations here would be to, firstly, begin promotion campaigns displaying roles and success of statistics graduates in cool jobs. There are already international campaigns and national campaigns in Britain. Let's see some more of those. And if along the way we can also remove institutional barriers to the recruitment of statistics students, and thirdly, ensure that government and universities work together to develop a strategy for recruiting undergraduate students, so much the better. Now, one of the key constraints noted for Australia and the United States was the ownership of statistics training in universities. However, very strong market forces are in favour of statistics, which helps statisticians to innovate within existing structures, even in difficult or hostile environments. So, let's increase the visibility of statistics in the university admission process. And let's assign responsibility for statistical training to a particular faculty. How about this picture here for visibility and clear assignation at Stanford University? I realise there's a lot to take in amongst those recommendations, but I also know that the statistics education community is large and willing. Every statistician academic can act individually and immediately on these 4 action points. They're all written out in my paper, but I thought it best to repeat them here so that you can start on them straight away. Take them as your marching orders. Firstly, improve advocacy. Don't wait for someone else to do it. Secondly, improve recruiting and training of the next generation of statistics professionals. Thirdly, keep on innovating, even under structural constraints. And finally, keep your individual knowledge up to date and at global standards. Finally, I'd like to acknowledge the contribution of these people and organisations and thank you for listening today. So I'll finish by reiterating my thanks to you for watching and listening to this presentation today. If you have any questions about this talk, please send me an email. My email address is given in the paper. I'd be delighted to discuss my experiences at the conference in Vietnam and talk more about the recommendations that arose from that conference and how they can help to build capacity in statistics majors worldwide. I hope the rest of ICOTS goes really well, and I look forward to meeting many of you either electronically or face-to-face in the near future.